different concept. Okay, so standard controller, custom controller has got nothing to do with the standard object, custom object. So there is nothing like standard controller will only work for a standard object. Standard controller works for standard as well as custom objects, correct? Standard controller works for standard as well as custom objects, and custom controller also works for both of them. So you can write a custom controller for a standard object. So we have been writing custom controller for account. If you have a custom object, I have been writing it account A equals something. If you have a custom object called project, please feel free to write project P. Just the only difference is going to be this double underscore C at the end of it. So your custom object can also be an S object. Ultimately we are talking about what? Data type is what? S object, right? S object stands for Salesforce object. So Salesforce object can be standard, can be custom. No problem at all with that. Now your question is that if I have to use account, why am I using a custom controller? So controller is not used for a particular object. So I'm not using custom controller for standard or custom object. Controller is for standard or custom logic. So what is a controller? Controller is set of logics, right? So standard controller uses standard set of logics, so which are already there in Salesforce: save, quick save, edit, delete. Custom controller is for custom set of logics where you can define whatever you want to do. Got it? So the methods are getting different. It's not the standard and custom object which is related to this. Got this thing? So of that MVC thing, controller is the third layer, right? Standard and custom object are in the model layer M. Controller logic, set of logic is in C. Okay, so don't mix up the model part with the controller part. Okay, model is different, controller is different. Does that make things clear to everyone? Are we okay on that?
So Jeet, so what extra do we achieve from custom control?
I will ask you a question. Okay. Before you ask me a question, let me ask you a question. You said that standard controller thing we can do using standard controller, okay? So yesterday we created a page and we displayed a list of accounts where industry equals energy. We did that thing. We're using a custom controller. Can you try doing the same with a standard controller? Can we do the same using a standard controller?
No, we cannot do it.
We cannot, right? So we have two options. Either I display with the standard controller, either I display one record or the entire list of records, right? Which means this custom logic where industry equals energy, that is something which I can write. Salesforce by default does not know, right? So that is the use of custom controller. Got that thing? So to answer your question that you were asking, that why use a custom controller on a standard object? Because I might want to display standard object records in a certain fashion, the way I want, but for that I have to write my own logics, okay, my own controller, which I have done in the custom controller yesterday. Could you get that example? It was Rohit or Ankit, sorry. Ankit?
Yeah, it was me, Rohit. I got it, I got it. It was clear. But tell me one thing. Suppose I am having a, I have nothing to do with this account and leads. I got it. I got your point that even for standard objects, whenever we have to create, we have to put our logic behind that. I mean, in standard controller, standard objects, we can't put SQL query, right? So we have to put a custom logic or custom controller sort of thing where we will create a class and we will put our query for that.
Query or any other thing, yeah, for that matter.
Any, absolutely. I mean, it's clear. Now suppose I have a totally a new page, a new VF page where I've designed 10 to 15 fields, and from backend I have done the this your entry part, say new accounts and XYZ accounts. So is that mandatory that whatever the accounts I will enter, it will also reflect into my accounts object, by default accounts object, or it will be on my new VF page only? I mean, I have a new page according to the requirement. I have put 10 to 15 fields there from backend, and I have entered the data from backend as well.
When you say, what do you mean? You have a page, on the page you have field. Now from backend means from where?
From the classes part, like earlier we were doing
From
yesterday.
the class, okay, good, fine. So it does not
So we
have to
have
be, so if it is hard coded, it does not have to be in the database.
Okay, so it will be only on my VF page, for which I will provide a tab.
Yeah, you can have that.
Okay.
No, Jeet, I mean, Sai here. I think I got what Rohit is asking actually. He's just asking, like, there is a standard object, okay, let's say account, okay. He has created one more Visualforce page which has account, I mean, like entry applet or something, where he's entering the data of the account and he's just saving that particular, I mean, submitting it to the database. So he is asking that particular record will be visible, is that record visible for me in the accounts screen, in the, you know, the standard page where we have.
Yeah, if you save the data, then it will go into the database.
Yeah, that should be there in the account screen also, Rohit, that's for sure.
Yeah, that will be there.
So it will be, I mean, it will save parallelly into my VF page as well as into the standard object as well.
Saving is related to the database completely, so it doesn't make any problem if you are, I mean, like in the VF page or in the standard page or whatever. All the data is fetched from the database. So wherever you save the data or wherever you retrieve the data, it will be visible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It only defines about the object, not about the page. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to do a save operation. Once you have saved the data, it has got entered into the database, and then it is something which is accessible at other interfaces also.
So probably from next time I can retrieve the data from standard object as well.
So we are retrieving. Retrieving means you are saying that you know, something which is in the database, showing that on the Visualforce page, we are doing that, right?
Yeah. I mean, next time we can retrieve the data whatever I have actually saved it through my new VF page.
Yeah. So Visualforce page is, just, you know, consider a Visualforce page as one more page layout.
Okay.
And from a layout. Now page layout we have already done. We have seen page layouts. We have seen you know, account can have 3 different page layouts. So, but you know, no matter you use a sales profile page layout or marketing profile page layout, ultimately the data is getting into that same account object, right? So same thing is Visualforce. Yeah, in Visualforce you may or may not you know, save the data. Yesterday I was just showing an example that there is a dummy account. I just put account A equals new account, that I never saved. So till the time you do not do a save operation or an insert operation which actually you know, commits the data into the database, till the time that is just a part of user interface. The moment you perform a save operation, it is going to get into the database. Now once it has got into the database, it will be available like other records. Correct? Okay. Then, you know, then this record gets admission into that particular table. Now wherever you can, you know, retrieve that table's data on your normal page layout or on another Visualforce page, you can see that record.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thanks.
And that is also again, you know, you were talking about standard object here, but again that is applicable for all the objects again. Okay. So this standard controller, custom controller, my again one more point that I would want to make clear for everyone, that your standard controller and custom controller have got nothing to do with standard object or custom object. It's not that standard controller is for standard object and custom is for custom object. You can use standard controller for both the objects, you can use custom controller for both the objects. right? It's just the logics that we are putting, those are standard or custom.
So basic funda is whenever we have to put our own custom logic, we will use custom control.
Whenever you are not able to manage, so same exact, same thing, yeah, through standard, if I'm not able to meet my requirements, I should go into a custom logic. Absolutely.
Done.
That is how it is. Right. Anyone else who wants to ask some question on this, maybe clarify a little more or something, add on to this?
Yeah, like Jeet, if we are planning to create a new VF page, so after creating database, after saving that, for that process, do we need to link that particular application in the while creating the VF page? Am I right? Like we have account sales? These are all. Sales is an like a application process. So in that in that app, we are going to create new data. So for that, do we need to give any database relation link while creating new VF page?
No, app that you see, sales app and marketing app, all these apps and the ones that you have created, these are all user interfaces. These have got nothing to do with the database. So if you see the account object under sales app and you see the account object under marketing app, both are same. Okay. It's like, see, I'll tell you, if you have a fan in a room, you can have two switches for the fan. I can have two switchboards and I can have two switches, right? So, but that does not mean that I have two fans. Both the switches will operate the same fan. The same way, under sales app, you can have an accounts tab. Under maybe marketing or call center app, you can have one accounts tab. But these are redirecting you or taking you to the same account object. The object is one only. So you don't have to, define that this is for sales app or something else. Okay?
Yeah, okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Fine. So let's create few more examples today. Okay, so as I discussed today, we are gonna start talking about some actions. Okay, so far we have just been using the method for displaying the data on the Visual Force page. Now let's go into some sort of action and all. Okay, so one action, I think let's start with a class first. Okay, I define a certain object variable, list of object accounts, done, and I define a public list of account, a method which returns list of account. I say accounts. Return. Okay. All right. I've defined a variable and I've defined a method. Now I'll go to the Visual Force page can say fx/v15. What was the last page that we created? I think V18. V17 was the last that we created. Okay, so I create a page V18 and I call that method here, the one that I've defined, this one. Say controller equals C5 and we would say text page block text page block table and value equals okay. So I've written I've called the method here. I'm trying to display the name, type, industry, phone, fax, all these things, but it does not display any data. Can you tell me why it does not display data? Why doesn't it show me any accounts here? I've created a table and everything.
We didn't relate it to any account ID.
Yeah, we have not, and in the SQL query also we have not written any query or something. So basically ACT is sorry, what was that?
No logic has been provided.
Nothing, right. So ACTS is just blank. I have not assigned any value to this variable. Alright. Now I want the values to be assigned to the variable on click of some button. So let me create those buttons also here. Text page block buttons and I say text command button show all. Text form component okay, fine. So the form component is here. We have put the form component, we have created a button. Let me create a couple of other buttons as well. One can be show direct accounts, the third one can be show channel accounts. Right, so buttons I have created. Now what I have to do, I have to define the action for these buttons. What will happen once I click on this button? That action needs to be defined, right? So that action for these actions of these buttons, I will define methods in the class. Okay. So you can use a method where the return type is page reference. Page reference return type means it will refresh the page, reload the page. Okay, so it reloads the page, and at reload it assigns the value to this variable. All right. So you can say page reference show all, and on this method I just want to do this. I want to assign a value, so I say select name, type, industry, phone, fax from account, return null, and close it. Okay, now let's understand this, what we have done. So this is a method which returns page reference. Okay, returns page reference means redirects you to some other page, but what I have defined, return null, means, so this is a method which will return to some page, but where to return I have said null. So it does not have any other location to go, so it will reload the same page. Okay, on a page reference method which returns some page, if you say return null, then it will just come back to the same page. So the same page will get reloaded basically. Okay, and in the meanwhile, before this reload happens and it returns back to the same page, in the meanwhile I have passed the value to this ACTS, which was earlier initially which was blank. I have supplied some value to it. So I said that okay, fine, make ACTS equals to select name, type, industry, phone, fax from account. I have not put any condition. So no condition means it will return all the records. So I will connect this particular method with the show all button. So in the show all button, you just have to go and say action equals show all. So now this is your custom action. Save it. Did I save it here? Okay. So now it's blank. The moment I click on show all, see the page gets reloaded and it shows all the accounts. Got it? So this is what is happening on this page reference. Same way I can create two more page reference methods. Those that return the page. You want to come back to the same page, right? So your return should be null. Finally you should say return null. You can give some other page's name here as well, some other Visualforce page name. It can return to that page also. Okay, but I would say show direct. Here type equals customer direct, and okay, if I don't do return null, then what happens? Then we'll throw error, because this is a non-void method. I have defined a return type here, then it wants me to return something. If I do not have anything to return, then I should at least write return null. Then it will return back to the same page. Okay. Now we have written our third method also here, customer show channel, and here query will only change. That's it.
Jeet, and if you do not say return null and you only mention return at, then what? How would it behave?
If I mention, sorry, return,
Return acts, ACTS.
why would it return acts? While when you have defined the method, first line while you are defining the method, at that time you have said return type is page reference. Now if you say return type page reference and then you return S object, so that's not the correct way of writing it, right? You understand the logic, right? I can only return what is the return type which I have defined. If I say this method will return a page, then I have to either give a page value or I should say null. Why would I return acts in a page reference? Got that thing? Acts is a list of account. It should get returned where the return type for the method is list of account. Correct,
Yeah,
right?
Jeet, return spelling is wrong.
Line number 16, return R
Yeah.
E, and here R E.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeet, can you repeat it once again what you just mentioned?
Okay. Why you say return acts here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is not correct thing, because I have, when I started defining the method, there I have clearly said that return type for this method is page reference. Okay, so you have to give a reference to a page as a return type, and because I do not want it to redirect to some other page, that is the reason why I am saying null. How can I supply S object as the page reference? Got my point?
Since we are using acts as a page reference, so
No, acts is not a page reference. Acts, no.
yeah,
Try and understand. Acts is what? It's an S object.
yeah, S object, yeah.
So
It should
your
it should
method
return the
actually
value
is like
acts.
public, and then you write the return type, what this method will return, and then you give the method name. And then you do whatever programming you want to do in your program, and finally you return something, right? But this something has to be the return type that you have mentioned here. If you have promised that method that the return type will be a page reference, you have defined it with that, you cannot supply an S object there, right? Is that clear? Okay. Seems clear.
This is clear now.
Okay. Fine.
So, if we'll mention instead of null, if we'll mention page reference equals to, sorry.
You tell me one thing. Okay, you have enrolled for Salesforce training. You come to Salesforce training. I start teaching you music classes. I return music. Okay, then what will you do? You will say, what is happening? I do not understand what is happening, right? Same thing will happen if you, instead of returning a page reference, where there is a scope of returning a page reference, if you return S object, that method will throw error, because it will not understand what is happening. Got that? So that is the thing. So whatever is the method, this is important, this is crucial. Whatever is the method, while defining the method, whatever is the return type you have defined, the same thing needs to be returned. For this method, in this get method, I have clearly defined that the return type is going to be a list of account, and that is the reason why I return accounts here. Accounts is a list of accounts. Got it? So that is the logic for all the methods, whatever methods you write. Clear?
Jeet, got this one. Yeah. Jeet, so if instead of null, if we mention page reference show channel or something like that, then it would redirect to some other page.
Instead of null, Instead of null, you can define some other page name, some other Visual Force page if you have, you can define that page's name. Okay. Let's say you want to go to V19, so you can write that page's name. Okay, that has to be a valid page name. Okay, we'll do that example as well. But either you do a return null here, which will bring you to the same page, or you return a page name so that this method can take you to that page. Correct? So two options we have. Correct? Return null brings us back on the same page, and if I give the name of some other page, it will take us to the other page. Here, I'll show you that one as well. So let's in the meanwhile first of all see if all these methods are working fine. Show channel. Okay. What happened here now? Action equals okay. So we have got this page. Now if I click on show all, it will show me all the accounts. If I say show Suresh, did you change anything on this? Okay. Show all. Say show direct accounts. I think the action did not get saved or something. One minute, huh? Okay. So if I do show direct accounts, it shows me only the accounts where the type is customer direct, right? If I say show channel accounts, it shows me only the accounts where type is customer channel. If I say show all accounts, it shows me all the accounts. Clear? We are okay with this? Now let's say I want to have one more page here. One more button here which will take me to the other page. The one that you guys were asking. That if I want to actually go to some other page, then say public page reference and go to V17. Method name you can give it whatever you want. Here you can simply say return page dot V17. Save. Now let me go and create a button. Okay, I've created one more button which will take me to other Visual Force page. So now this go to V17, because in the method I have said that return page.v17, it will take me to the V17. So click on this, it will take you to the other page. See, takes you to the other page. So this is my V17. Clear? So this is one more way of redirecting from one page to the other page using this page reference method. So earlier I have used this page reference to return to the same page. And we have seen an example where we are going from the one page to the other page. We did, in one of the sessions we were discussing on how can we, how do we open a Visual Force page, or how do the users access your Visual Force page. This is one more way of accessing Visual Force page using the page reference method. Okay. Any questions on this? Hello? Yeah. You're good? We're clear on it?
Jeet, how do we come back? Okay, so we have actually got redirected to V17. We have to click V19 now.
So you have come to V17, right? If you actually want to go back to V18 from here, then create one button on V17 also to go to V18. Got it? Because that button was there on V18. Now if you want to go back, or you want to go to some other place from V17, then create a button on V17 as well. Got it? So that is how it would work. Clear on this? All right. So let's just work on this part today. Okay, tomorrow once we meet, we are going to talk about a void method. Okay, so we have seen the method with return types. We have talked about the method which has a return type. Tomorrow we are going to talk about a void method which does not return anything. Okay, so just work on this today, and tomorrow once we meet, we'll talk about that void method.